Hi, hello, hi, and welcome to All Our Hearts and Minds. Thank you again for tuning in. We are here to discuss all things that have been on our hearts and minds, the good, the bad, the concerning, and uplifting, or just straight talk. We're your hosts, keeping our passionate heart.
Yeah.
And then there's me, Jeanette, a mind and chronic overthinker. Let's get into it.
Yes.
Okay,
we haven't in a while, you know.
I know, right?
Mhm.
So we're back again with a new episode, and first and foremost, we have to acknowledge this is Mother's Day. We're recording Mother's Day weekend, so we're just gonna make sure we get out there. Happy Mother's Day to all our listeners. You're probably gonna hear this a few days after Mother's Day, but still, we want to ensure that all our listeners, mothers, mother figures, and everything in between.
That's right.
Get their acknowledgement. Yes. And then, so let's go into our checkup.
Yes.
How was your week?
It was okay. You know, my daughter had a basketball tournament in which her school won.
Yay! Woohoo!
Yes, good job, girls. But I had to run up and down on Friday, bringing her to and from. Back in the day, in my day, they used to supply a bus, but I guess they don't do that no more. So parents have to be responsible for it and stuff. And so overall, it was good, though. You know, a good week. I can't complain. I really can't complain. I'm glad that it's Mother's Day weekend. Show a little appreciation to my mama. And all those out there who are mothers and mothers to be, mothers standing in, moms, all sorts of stuff. So, yeah, but how are you? How was your week?
I've been good. It was a good week, and I was just wrapping everything up before I go on vacation, have a little break.
So somebody's birthday's coming. Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
So I had no intention of going away for my birthday week. I was just going to take it off and enjoy, relax, do some self-care, get some errands done. But I was peer pressured, I want to say, to hey, why not? Just go. Like, who cares? Go to Mexico for 3 days. Why not? So that's what I'm gonna do. So I'm just getting ready, going to Cabo, Mexico. My first time there. This is my first time in Mexico. Period. It's always been a place I've been kind of scared to go to because of all the all the stuff, the cartels and everything. But this is a pretty
God's
popular.
got your back, though. You'll be fine.
Yeah. I'll be fine. And this area is like not really around those popular areas. It's like more on the desert side of the country, and a very popular place for what do you call it, expats and Americans who go there really quickly. So I won't be feeling, it's not too exotic for me. So yeah, I'm gonna do that. And today I did a Mother's Day brunch. We did it early.
Nice.
My sister's church, which
nice.
Or her adopted church for now. She actually goes to your church. That's her home church is your church.
Yeah, but she
listeners don't know.
Okay.
But she's like adopted. I think let's say she's fostering a new church. Let's say like that for now. I don't know if it's official. She left the other one, but her foster church, let's call it, was having hosting a Mother's Day brunch, and me and my sister and my mom and my niece had brunch together today, so it was nice.
Oh, that's so nice. Yeah.
And
I wanted to say something about you traveling. Listen, girl, you better go travel. You don't wait till you're 65, okay? You don't wait till you're the 70.
Second person.
Travel and go where, please, and bring back the pictures, please. That's all I gotta say about that. She's always humming and hawing about traveling. I'm like, girl, go. You better go. Okay.
Yeah, right.
Thanks.
And I'm blessed. Like, I'm blessed in that not only that I can do. Sometimes it's really hard. Some people have to save 6 months, which either way, however you have to do it, you can do it. Or nowadays you can finance it. Like I know, like my niece's friend did that because they have a bunch of kids and going on a vacation is a lot. So they actually just have to
2 mortgage payments right there.
Pay it in small installments. So they're if they're able to do it, and then I travel for work, so I get lucky to get little points here and there, rack up some points, so I can kind of counteract some of the costs by using my points. So that's why I'm able to do it. There are different ways, but however you're able to do it, like Kim says.
Do it, man. Don't wait till you're old and gray. Like, do it now.
Yeah, don't wait till you retire and stuff.
Yeah, like not to say that that's not good to do.
There's nothing wrong.
There's so many places in the world to go. one human probably can't touch everywhere in the earth. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
However, you could damn well try. So
Yep.
you might as well. I
Hmm.
mean, I'm always the one who's telling you, go, girl, go. Yes.
Yeah. So
Mm-hmm.
thanks. So I'll let y'all know how it goes.
Yep.
And yeah, so that's my week, and so having something to look forward to, my
Mm-hmm.
birthday, and I'll be back here in town for my birthday because my family's very pissed at me for never being around for my birthday. So I have to make sure I'm back for my birthday, and I will be. And
Mm-hmm.
and then finally, okay, so we got our checkup done. Before we jump into
Yes.
headlines, if you're listening, everybody remember to rate the podcast wherever you listen to it, particularly
Yes.
Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Please rate it. Also, feel free to leave us a note or a comment on anywhere you listen to our podcast, whichever
Yes,
platform.
just do it. Mm-hmm.
Just do it. All right. So now we got that out of the way. Let's just
Mm-hmm.
jump right into it. So we are going to start with something local but global, but
Mm-hmm.
local, but local.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, so last week we were talking about all the rap beef,
Mm-hmm.
the escalating rap beef.
Mm-hmm.
Particularly, let's just name it. We know the rap beef that
Yep.
everybody's paying
It's
attention
everywhere,
to
like
is
literally, even on big media. Like,
yeah, big,
geez,
yeah,
man.
CNN everywhere. Okay.
Everybody had chat about it. Like, they have nothing else for cover. But anyway, go on. Yeah.
And so with Drake and Kendrick, and so it culminated this week. Well, unfortunately, with a shooting at Drake's mansion here in Toronto,
Mm-hmm.
and
Drake's
so
doing
his
too much.
security guard,
Mm-hmm.
unfortunately, somebody got harmed, and that was his security guard in this shooting. And they said that it happened about 2 a.m.
Can you
On a
imagine?
Tuesday night. Yeah, they shot the place up.
Mm-hmm. Which I don't even know how you shoot up that place because,
Like, right, it's
listeners,
a fortress. Like, how did
it's
unless
literally like you have to
unless
go
he was
down
literally
into the gully.
standing
Like, you know? I
unless
don't
the guard
know.
was literally standing in front of the gate. That's the only thing that would make sense. Like, how could, like, and then the gate to the house is such a big distance, so I have to assume that the guy was like right at the gate or something.
Listen, I have
Hmm.
driven down that area before and I
Hmm.
feel eyes on me and I'm just driving through. You understand what
Yeah.
I'm telling you? Like, I don't even know how they got to Drake's like to his gate. I don't even know how without being detected, without somebody watching something being picked up somewhere. I know it was 2 o'clock in the morning, but there's a lot of people who are up late. Like, I just don't understand how they were even able to get that close to the property to
Mm.
be shooting up the place. Like, to be really honest, like bridal path, that's a different area. You
And
understand?
it was, it's crazy because that guy got seriously injured. It wasn't like he got
Yeah.
clipped. Like, he got shot in the torso and he was unconscious when and had to
Mm-mm.
undergo surgery. So, like, fortunately he's
Mm-mm.
alive, but still the fact that that's pretty lethal, that a drive-by shooting, which is usually pretty frantic. And
Right?
to your point, I feel like if there's security, the security should be inside anyway. So, like, you know what I mean. So, there was multiple shots. So I don't know if maybe he came out when it started and then he got hit, or I don't know. It's crazy, but there was a neighbor that the news shared, got a quote from, and he said that the neighbor, this guy named Richie Lai, I thought I was dreaming. I didn't even know if I heard what I heard, and then maybe 5 or 10 minutes later, I heard the sirens. So, you're at home, you're like, what? You hear some weird shit. You're like, what was that?
Right?
It sounds like gunshots, but then you don't know. You never know. But
Right?
if you hear sirens shortly after, it's pretty safe to say you heard what you heard. So obviously the police officer that gave us a statement was saying, they're saying the standard stuff they're investigating. They say they have, obviously that's a very rich area, so every house per there probably has surveillance cameras, not just Drake's, even the houses all around, up that street there, up on Bridle Path, would have camera footage. So it's not, I think it's just a matter of time, to be honest. They say they have multiple suspects. So I don't think it'll be hard to find these people because there's just cameras everywhere. It's not a street that you can just go in and out of really quickly.
It's
And
not.
so,
It when I think of when I've gone down to the bridal path, because I've gone down there before just to look at the houses and stuff like that.
mhm,
And they're huge, gigantic properties all around there. So I really don't understand how they were able to be undetected.
yeah,
I don't know. I don't know. And like you said, that's not just a regular degular type of shot. Like he was up close and personal to this security guard. So, well, press up for the security guard just doing his damn job. You understand what I'm saying?
yeah,
But
yeah.
supposedly, I don't know where the beef is coming from. There's all sorts of speculations on that.
Yeah, there's a lot of speculation. Like me personally, I was like, I never thought it would get to this. I, if speaking from the beef point of things, I never thought it would get to shooting types of a situation. Like here's my PV. I don't know anything. I'm just a regular person at home.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And you know what? If this was 1996, like it was when Biggie and Tupac died, yeah, I
Right?
would say it. But this is 2024, like, and you know that was an event. The Biggie Tupac killings were an event that shook the whole community, and I don't think we've really
Literally.
seen that
Literally.
since. Since then, if a rapper's died, it's been because of street stuff, like real street stuff,
Yeah.
like gang,
Mm-hmm.
affiliations and stuff like that,
Mm-hmm.
but not just because of rap beef. So that's kind
Right?
of why I'm just like, ugh. But the timing obviously is suspect. Here's my point of view. Here's what I think. I don't know shit, but here's what I think. I think it was some overzealous people, like say, like if they're affiliate, like like I don't know if Kendrick is associated with any gangs, but where from he's from Compton, the Crips, even if you're not a part of it, you're a part of it. And then
Mm-hmm.
Crips are worldwide. So
Mm-hmm.
maybe somebody took it upon themselves and felt like you know what I mean? I don't think Kendrick's camp went out of
I
his
don't
way
think
to
Kendrick's camp would. No,
you know what I
I don't
mean? But
think Kendrick
no.
would send out the order. I don't
Mm.
think so.
Mm-hmm,
But I think
But
somebody,
somebody
someplace
affiliated.
that has a
Mm.
beef with Drake is coming for what's theirs, and it's speculated that it's the weekend and his camp from EXO, and I don't know.
Can you imagine of all the people he's beef with? The
Right?
weekend.
Right? Well, I mean, a lot of it does make sense. I mean, the weekend is from Canada. He's from Toronto,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? And he knows how bridal path works. He knows how that flex would go. I'm just saying. I'm not gonna hey, this is allegedly. We're gonna put that out
Mhm.
there. Allegedly, allegedly. I said my three. Okay.
Yeah.
But to be quite honest, it does kind of make sense. Like it does kind of make sense because they do have a beef. What I want to know is why is everybody and their mother coming after Drake? Why is that? Why is
Well,
everybody turning on
we
him?
were
Like,
talking
what did
about
he
it, but
do in these
you
streets?
know
Like,
what is simple? People are people. That thing called jealousy.
right?
That thing called jealousy has people doing
Yes.
mad things, very
Yes.
mad up things. As
Right?
simple as we used to call the word jealousy, and
Well,
jealousy has people out here acting
but like, okay,
crazy.
Drake has been on top for quite a while now.
Like
You
they're getting
know,
tired of it. They're getting
quite
tired of
a
it.
while. I think what it is, and I said this to you before. I think what it is that hip hop is supposed to be said to be created in the states, right? Specifically, I would say New York,
Yeah.
and so they don't want to see a Toronto light skinned, half black, half white Jewish man as the
Mm,
face of hip hop. Now, here's the thing, right? Is that hip hop has influenced the world.
hmm.
So I don't understand why it's a problem.
Yeah.
Why it's
Well,
a
here.
problem,
Mhm.
right? Like if you're an influence of something, you create something, you have to be prepared for people trying to mimic and duplicate and copy what it is that you've made. I think that, Drake is consistent. I think he's making a lot of money. I think he has his hands touched in a lot of things. I think he's a powerful man in the industry. Whether we want to believe it or not, he is, you know, and people are tired of it. but I just didn't think that everybody and their mother would come after him. Like literally everybody's coming after this man, right down to the weekend. He's singing R&B diss tracks. Like what the hell? What are we doing here? Like where how did we get here? That's what I want to know. I feel like from a consumer's perspective, you guys were all cool. And now all of a sudden everybody's coming for the jugular. Like I don't even
Yeah,
understand this, you know.
yeah. But they sit behind closed doors, you know? Okay, so prayers up for that security guard. It looks like he's
Yes.
gonna pull through, but prayers up for
Yes.
Drake too, because
And Drake, you
damn,
better take care of him, man. You better take
of
care of
course
him.
he will.
Good,
Yeah,
good, good. Take care of him. If you're handing out $25,000 to the crowd and the fans and the stuff,
yeah.
you
No,
better
Drake
hand
is
out some money
known.
to that
Yeah,
that security
Drake
guard.
is not stingy with his people. Like I know people like we went to school with and stuff that on my Instagram. They're always when Drake's in town, he looks after his people. That's one thing I nobody can say about Drake in terms of that. All right, so we'll move on to Mr. Brian McKnight
Dumbass. That's his
being
nickname.
very, very weird with his children and saying very, very strange things online and with a straight face. Very, very strange. So Brian McKnight fixed himself
Fixed
to
his mouth to say. Okay? This damn idiot, man. Yeah.
he fixed himself to go online and say that his kids, I'm just pulling it up here. He posted a video just saying that his kids were what made out of sin or something like that. Like he doesn't feel
Yes.
bad. Like or
Yeah.
people were saying that okay, so people were quoting the Bible and saying something about his your children are your blessing or something like that. Something to that effect. Something what do they say in the Bible with your children, right? And so he was trying to combat that and saying that
Here's the dumbass part.
his children are well, it's not a sin. What I'm doing is not a sin because my children were made in sin or something like that. And I was like, Lord God,
Oh, this man.
why would you say that? He said, and he continued to even say on top of that, bad enough, he says his children were made in sin. He says, in order to live a life that you love, you have to get rid of the evil and the negativity, even if that evil and negativity is related to you. He also said that on that video. And, you know, he said the children were God when they talk about God, you should raise your children in your light or whatever the Bible quote was that was on the original post that he was addressing. He said God wasn't talking about children that were a product of sin, and I didn't raise them; their mothers did, and
I
he continued
need
and he
Brian
continued with
McKnight.
the nonsense. But what kills me,
Ugh,
here's what really kills
I
me.
just with him.
He is saying this with a straight face, no
Right?
twitch, no sign of a joke, no sign of sarcasm, nothing. I'm like, wait, does he really believe this? And I'm like,
Yeah. Yeah.
like, and it looks like he does.
Jeanette, he has been going back and forth with his children, his grown ass children, for months now. Okay, months now. He's been, degrading them, calling them names, saying all sorts of nasty things to these
Hmm.
children. In one of them, okay, is fighting cancer.
Yeah, I saw
Okay,
that.
and you're
Yeah,
talking about these children this way. Here's the thing: all children, in my view as a Christian, all children are a blessing from
yeah,
God. Period. Okay, you might have been doing a sinful act, but the child is not a sinful,
yes. The
is not a
child's
product
innocent.
of that sin. None at all.
Mhm.
It's a
No,
blessing, even within your sin. So let's just keep it a buck there. Second, with Brian McKnight, I don't know if this was your attempt at publicity or attention because nobody's giving it to you. Unfortunately, this was the wrong way to go.
I
I
think he
think he should
tarnished
have
his
kept.
image.
Yeah, he sure did, because the type of music that Brian McKnight made was baby making
Hmm.
music. So I don't know
Hmm.
how. Okay, and all these women that were throwing themselves at you back then, You're the one that decided to lay down with them. So miss me with it. These children who are grown, I want all of you to stick together. Stick together and make your family with what it is. Brian McKnight's wife. That's who I really want to talk to, because Brian
Mm.
McKnight has done lost his damn mind, okay, in these streets, and I need to talk to somebody, okay, who might I might be able to get through to, and that is his wife. I have to second eye her though, because I don't know how you're letting your man go on the big internets talking out of his ass like this. I don't know how you're doing it, and people have said that she kind of sides with him. So listen, Brian McKnight's wife, is how he treats his other children. He could treat your children the same. So while you're here and you're allowing your husband to go on public forums and say these nasty and disparaging things to his older children, best believe if he can do it to them, he'll do it to your children. So
Mm.
just get that straight. Brian McKnight, go sit down someplace. Everybody is pulling. Everybody's pulling. Nobody wants to do business with you. Nobody wants you to sing for them no more. Nobody cares about your boo-hooing. Nobody cares about none of it. You and your biracial family can go and bugger off. Leave these young, still impressionable young adults to
Hmm.
just let them get their bearings and understand that their father is not only an asshole, but he is definitely an idiot.
Mm.
Definitely an idiot. They have to deal with the fact that their father's a fool and that he's publicizing it. Like, honestly, that's the part that really wrongs me. It really bothers me, is if you want to think these ways about your children, that's fine. Can you keep it to yourself? Please and thanks. How about
Yeah, I
that?
don't understand putting it in the
I
public.
couldn't understand it either. That's why I'm saying you're looking for some attention because nobody gives a damn about Brian McKnight. Like, please, even my generation doesn't give a damn about Brian McKnight. And my generation was where Brian McKnight made his money. You understand? We don't even give a shit. Nobody's going to your damn concerts. Nobody wants to mess with you no more.
And
Like,
now
I
it
can't even believe you
now and now
left
I
these
wouldn't even
states.
now can't even look at him the same too,
Nah,
because like
fam. Nah,
he
I will
always
shut off that radio quick, fast, and in a hurry if I hear
like
his
if
song.
I hear that song, one of my favorite songs from him, one da 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 two,
Two. Yeah, no, I'm done.
like
You got the one and the two, and now I'm done
you got the one and the two.
because the type that's cold. That's cold. That's
So
cold.
I think there's a mixture. Obviously, there's a lot of emotional turmoil and maybe some mental thing going on because it ain't adding up. But we'll see there, and
Yeah, he's
so
a
we'll
damn
move on,
fool. Mhm.
and that too. Before we're going to talk about the Met Gala, but let's talk about Mr. Bieber, another Canadian talent, expat to Los Angeles, US, someone we're very proud of his success. He recently announced, well, first there was that video that his wife posted of him crying, which was kind of weird, but
Mhm.
okay. And then we are like, what is this? What is that? Why would she post that? And then we found out couple days later, 2 3 days later, that they did the announcement of their pregnancy together. They've been married for a while now. I can't remember when they
Mhm.
got married, but it's at least 4 years, at least 3 or 4 years, maybe
They've been
almost
together
5.
for a while.
They've been
Yeah.
together for a long time, but they've been married even, I would say, at least 3 or 4 years.
Mhm. Mhm.
So happy for them. Cute announcement, a reveal. So yeah, we'll see what's going to happen with them. I think that
Can you imagine?
it's
He's been married since 2018.
they've been married since 2018.
18.
So wait,
You
no, but that's like
imagine?
that's about no, yeah, 4 plus 2, 6 years, about six
That's
years
six
now.
years. That's a good 6 years. Them that okay. No, you know why I'm surprised? Because I remember when they got married, and a lot of people were waiting for that to fail. A
Yeah,
lot of
yeah.
people were. So
And
to see that they've lasted that long, wow.
yeah,
Okay.
but you know
It's
what? If we really think about it, they listen. I don't know Bieber's like or almost or previously Haley Baldwin's background, but around the time that he got married was around the time, remember, he got closer to God, right? So I
yeah.
feel like what we talk about, his marriage wasn't like a publicity stunt. I think he was looking for something for somebody to want to get married, man or woman, but particularly a man, if a man is looking to get married young, because he would have been like because he just recently turned 30 the other day, so
Mhm.
he's
Mhm.
still fairly, he's not a kid anymore, but he got married younger than the average famous pop star,
Mhm.
right? And I
Mhm.
think that was also around the time he found Christ and he was getting religious and stuff like that. And I think he probably wanted a different life for himself. So I think that when you get married for pure intentions, even in the crazy world of Hollywood,
Right?
and you are led by God and you feel like your union is blessed by God, and I'm assuming she was in it too in some shape or fashion,
Mhm.
I think that's why they've lasted so long. To be honest, I don't know them. I don't know anything, but I think that plays a role. I think, to your point, if he wasn't religious and didn't do this for religious reasons or settled down because he wanted a
Mhm.
certain kind of life, a wholesome
Mhm.
life,
Mhm.
they would have been broken up, I think. But I think he went into this intentions with with godly intentions, and I think that's what we're seeing
I
manifest.
think at the time he just, I did
He
not.
wanted to settle a little bit.
Well, that, and I think he broke up with Selena Gomez,
Yeah, yeah.
and so people were really, because they were together for so long, Selena and
Hmm.
him, and I
Hmm.
think people were just really skeptical because it's like, is this your, what do they
Rebound.
call it, rebound woman? You know what I
Hmm.
mean? But no, it wasn't, and this is what he was looking for, and this is what he's found, and so now, I'm interested to see how Justin is going to be as a dad. I'm
Oh,
really
yeah.
interested to see that. I think he's got the attire down pat, because
The
this
dad wear.
man,
Yeah, he does dress like a dad.
he dresses like a dad, like a typical dad, going on the school trips and stuff. And, he looks the role. So I'm really interested to see that part of his life. He's grown up in front of us, literally, and
Literally.
literally, and he's gone through a lot of milestones in his life in front of the camera. And so this is just another one of them. I'm excited to see.
Yeah. He actually just turned 30 this year.
Can you
So
imagine?
God bless him. He
Him
was a
have good
child.
skin.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Oh, good skin. And
Hmm.
all the stuff he's been through to still look decent. Because
Right?
some of these child stars, they start looking
The
haggard early because they've been
haggard.
the hard life. Like, he
Haggard.
definitely lived a hard life, but he kind of bounced back.
You know
So,
what's the kid again from Home Alone? What's his name?
oh, but
Maholkin?
Macaulay Culkin, yeah.
Culkin. Sorry.
Oh,
Look,
he was
have
looking
you?
a mess
Jesus.
when he kind of got better. He's better. He's better now. But when
He
his
is,
and
but that skin didn't tighten up. I'll tell you that. He looks old. Like, he looks like he's pushing 60, bro. Like,
yeah, and he
I
would
saw a
only
picture of
be
him one time, and I had to clutch my invisible pearls. I was like,
yeah.
girl, whoo, what
Yeah,
is
he
going
would only
on
be
here?
40. The oldest he could be is like 40, around the early 40.
At
Like,
the very most,
yeah.
okay? But he looks like he's pushing 60, so
Damn,
he
damn, damn,
does.
damn.
Look at him. The next, even now, he still
Look,
looks like he's a lot older than he should be.
let me look up Macaulay Culkin right now.
Yeah,
Let me
he's
see what he's
not.
looking like
Yeah, no.
right now.
That's why I say good skin, because like, we already know with us black people, black don't crack. You know what I'm saying? But there's some white people who they keep good care of themselves and take good care of their skin, and they
Yeah.
don't age very rapidly.
But there's also sometimes it just, listen, your genetics are just popping. Your
Right?
genetics are just really, really good.
Why? Mm.
Yeah, I can't find a really recent picture of him, but
Yeah. Don't
yeah, well,
worry. You
God
don't
bless
need
him.
to.
All these
Hmm.
child stars,
Yeah, they
no
went through.
matter,
They
they've
went
been through a
through it.
lot. No matter if they're doing good or bad, we have to kind of give them grace because God knows what they
Hmm.
went through. So yeah, congrats to the Biebers. And then now we're just gonna go. We have to talk about the Met Gala.
Right?
And
Been
so
excited to talk about this.
yes, it crept up on me, and the next day I was like, everybody, actually, I heard somebody say Met Gala. I was like, oh, is it happening? And then before I knew it, I was like, it's actually happening. Like, it's the day of that. And so
I always miss it. I always miss it. I'm
yeah,
sorry.
yeah, I
Always.
usually like to be on Twitter the night of, but this year I was not a part of the Twitter shenanigans during the Met Gala. That's okay. We all have real lives to live. So let's talk about, first of all, let's talk. I'll talk. The theme for this year
Mm-hmm.
was the Garden of Time, or it was let me do the full thing. The theme was Sleeping Beauties, Reawakening Fashion, the Garden of Time. And so that's why we saw a lot of floral themes and stuff like that. It felt like, for me, when I hear that, I kind of feel like fairy tale type of essence or
Right,
whatever.
whimsical kind of.
Whimsical,
Yeah.
like, yeah.
Mhm.
So a lot of people were literal, where you saw a lot of flowers incorporated, which is fine. So ours, listen, every year, I don't care. My number one is Zendaya.
Right? Well, she's
If
up there.
Rihanna,
She's in my top
she's up,
3.
well,
She's in my top
she's
3.
up there. She's always gonna give me some. She's always gonna be in my top five, always.
Rihanna's my number 1 though. I'm
But
sorry.
Rihanna, oh well,
Riri,
Rihanna.
you
But you see,
run
I
the
I had to
gala.
start with Zendaya because Rihanna was in there. So otherwise,
That's
Rihanna would
true.
be. I'd have
That's true.
to.
But the first person I'm always looking for is
Is
Miss
Rihanna?
Rihanna because
Yeah.
she run that every time. Every time.
Mm-hmm.
Every time.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me
Mm-hmm.
one that she hasn't. You can't. That's
There's
right.
none.
That's right. So she's my top, but Zendaya is second for me. She's in the top 3.
Yeah, for
Miss
the
Zendaya.
regulars. Yeah, so it's, oh yeah, so we were talking about this. So like the people that I always want to look for, and I won't be disappointed with, is
Mhm.
Rihanna, Zendaya.
Mhm.
They might not be my favorite, but I'm always gonna like want to appreciate. Janelle Monáe is the
Mhm.
next one who I'm
Yeah.
always gonna look out for in terms of like what are they wearing, and that's
Mhm.
just, those are the black celebrities.
And Nicki Minaj, that's my
Oh yeah,
third.
I'm sorry.
Sorry.
Yes, we talked about this. Nikki too as
Mhm.
well. So this year, so I liked what Zendaya wore. She wore two outfits. I like them both. Some people did costume changes because I just saw the black one now. Before I saw her in the blue whimsical lace
Right.
thing.
Mhm.
So
She made her
that's so
entrance with that one.
she made her
Mhm.
entrance, and of
Mhm.
course Cardi was the biggest entrance because her dress took up the whole red carpet,
Mhm. Mhm.
and she was wearing, what was Cardi wearing?
Some black dress.
It
I'm
was
sorry,
It
Cardi.
was a black tulle thing, and it was like very ripply, and it came out in Cardi B in Windowson. Oh, the designer is Windowson. Yeah, it's like, it is. I mean, it's, for me, why I'm not impressed is not that, no, I can't say I'm not impressed. Why it's not a wow moment for me is because she's done the big dress already. It's easy. Yeah, that's an easy win for her. So, but the all black is interesting considering the theme too. Like, that's the only thing. It doesn't give me whimsical, doesn't give me flowery. But you know what? Either way, she looked amazing. Her jewelry, maybe what could have been the whimsical part. Actually, she was wearing this emerald jewelry that
Yeah,
was
she
really
was wearing
beautiful.
green. And
Yes.
when you say awakening, right? Like you would think that, like I could see why she went black. And there's a story I heard behind her dress that it was
Mm.
actually like a bluish turquoise color.
Yes, like it was
And
a different color at first.
it
Yeah.
was, and at certain angles it looked green and stuff like that, and so she just dyed it black, which I could
Okay.
understand why she did black, only because when you awaken, right, that means that you were asleep, so it
Hmm.
was dark, and then you see the green, the emerald, so it's like the green, the life of the garden is growing out of the darkness. That's what I perceived her dress to mean.
Okay. And then, yeah, but I feel like if I pay attention to the details with the green and the emerald,
If she didn't
there's
have
some.
on those emeralds, she wouldn't have made it.
Oh no, no, absolutely not. I'm giving her something because because of that.
Right? Let's keep it a buck. Sorry,
I'll keep it a
Cardi.
buck. J Lo, I actually liked J Lo
I don't. Mm-mm.
situation.
No.
I kind of, I get where she was going with it. We were talking about the mediocrity of J Lo, but there's one thing I could give her out of all her mediocrity and talent, is she can wear a dress if she
Yeah, she
finds
could
the
wear a
right one.
dress, but you know what? She has no originality.
No, none,
And
never,
that's what
never.
that's what that dress was right there. If she doesn't have someone to emulate or mimic or imitate, I'm sorry, but JLo, I don't really like JLo anymore. I'm
I
sorry.
just saw a photo of Naomi. She looks good. I was trying to find all the standout people that I'm just scrolling through on my. We're going to talk
That
about the
girl,
worst.
Tyla,
Tyler, do you like that?
I didn't like the dress, not
I
whatsoever.
didn't like the. No,
Not
because I was like,
whatsoever. Not
I was like,
whatsoever.
it was
But
not giving. It was not giving. I God
it was
damn thing.
giving beach. and not
He was giving
garden,
sand and dune.
right? Like, I think her body looks amazing. I think
Mhm.
she's very petite girl. You know, I
Mm.
think that the idea was great, but I don't think you are on the right track because a garden is not usually doesn't usually come from
No,
sand.
she would have been the perfect, like, she's a new talent. She's a young lady bursting onto the scene. She just blended into the background. I feel like she could have made a moment. You don't need to be extra, like, but you could have she could have had a lot of fun. This is an sometimes I have weird themes and it's hard to grasp, but this was a really easy, it's a really easy theme. It's perfect for the season. We're in spring. I feel like she could have had her and her designer, her stylist or whatever, could have had a lot of fun. I saw Demi Moore, that flower dress. I really like that. And there's what's her name? Tiana Taylor.
Yes, Tiana
What'd you think
Taylor's
of
dress
Tiana
looked
Taylor?
pretty too. She looked very
He
nice.
looked like a rose, a budding
Hmm.
rose.
Yes,
Okay, so
yes.
that's enough of the people I feel like that stood out that we know. There's a lot of other random stuff, but
Hmm.
oh, for the men, Usher looked like, you remember? Okay, you remember
I
there's a
don't
show
know.
called,
I don't
no,
know
you
about
remember there's
Usher.
a show. He looked like Tuxedo Mask. You remember Sailor Moon?
Yes.
He looked like Tuxedo Mask.
Yes. Because I've been trying to pinpoint that shit. Yes.
Yes,
That's what it is. I was
this
like,
guy.
what? Usher? I
So
don't know.
Usher, but I like, it's a Met Gala. This is a time a man can kind of get outside of the suit and tie look, right? So I'll give it to him. He had his little rose, looking like tuxedo mask. I just saw a photo of Odell Beckham.
Yeah,
Basically what the men did was wear a suit with flowers on it.
pretty
That's
much.
as much as they could do, unless like your Usher who decided to throw a cape and hat on. And then there's Bad Bunny with that hat.
Mm.
I'll give it to Bad Bunny. He kept it pretty conservative for him. And then
Odell
so,
Beckham, to be quite honest, I liked his suit. I
mhm.
liked that he used, okay, he didn't just put flowers that were black on the
No,
suit,
he has a.
right?
It looks like a Mexican, like South
Yeah,
American
like
type
a
of.
Liberace band kind of thing, and I liked the color. I liked the
Mm,
pop of color that was on his suit. To be honest, I
yes.
think he was one of the better dressed men
Yeah.
that did the floral on the suit type of thing. Because
Mm,
Usher
mm.
did it, and I was like, no, that didn't quite make it. That didn't quite make it.
They didn't quite
Yes.
make it for you, eh?
No, but
Okay,
who did
so.
make it is I want to talk about Nicki Minaj's dress because I was like,
Oh yeah,
yes,
yes. Go ahead.
Nicki.
You talk about your standout because we have to talk about the hideous
Nicki.
ones in a second. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, because me and Nicki, we have a tumultuous
Yeah, I know.
relationship.
Yeah,
Anyways,
you do.
but that's okay. I thought she hit it. I thought she was
Mhm,
on theme. I thought
mm,
she looked whimsical. I thought her hair was very playful. I thought her dress, the color was outstanding against the red carpet. I thought the having the pieces like almost like a 3D imaging coming off of her dress. I thought that was, yes, Nikki, you hit
mm.
it. You hit the mark 100%. There was a lot of questionable people there, but I will say that you redeemed yourself and this whole, you know,
And you know what I like that she did? She had fun with her hair. She
she
doesn't
sure
normally
did.
put
That's
her.
what I
Yeah.
was whimsical. That's what I was saying. Like it was it was very on theme because when you think of a garden, you think of whimsical and fun and light. She
Hmm.
had the color was yellow. The
Hmm.
majority of the dress was yellow, which is the sun. Then
Hmm.
she had, florals coming off of the dress. Then she even had like a butterfly coming off of one shoulder, like a 3D. I was like, okay. And then her hair, I was like, yes, this is fun. This is playful. This goes with the theme and the dress. I thought she was a 10 out of 10. I thought she hit the theme 100%. And it was nice to see how fun and playful that Nikki could be.
I
It
love
was
it.
nice.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So
Hmm.
now we have to go to the questionables. We need to go to the
Oh
questionables now,
my
and we have to
goodness,
talk about the number.
Travis.
There's two big questionables. One isn't a surprise, and one is, they like to pull stunts and shows. So let's start with Miss Serena Williams. Serena,
Please.
Serena, I'm gonna
Please,
need
somebody help
you.
her. Please.
You sent me a video, and I think that I feel like that is now I figured it out. Is Serena styled and like maintained by like white staff?
This
Like
is
I
why I
feel like
had to
there's
send you the
no way
video. This is
there's
why.
no way there's a black person in her like stylist camp. There's just no way. The makeup is always jacked. The hair's never on
Oh my
one,
mother of
and
pearl.
then the outfits never make sense. They
Mm-mm.
never like you actually you always say this. I never thought of this until you said it. She doesn't dress flattering for her body type.
At all.
She's very fit, and because of her fitness, she has like remember like and she plays tennis, so her arm upper body is very
Masculine.
yes,
Okay.
yeah, muscular. Let's say this muscular. She's a very muscular upper body, so you have to like. There's a way to dress that and still be feminine, and I know it's not to say is she even trying to be. Yes, we know Serena is very ultra girly as much as she has a very athletic body. That's why I feel she kind of goes the direction that she does is because she does really want to appear girly and feminine. So then if you want to do that, first rule of any styling, doesn't matter good what if you're trendy or not, the clothes must fit you well.
Thank you. You can't have all this damn money and can't find that damn dress that fits you properly. Listen. Listen. She should be getting her dresses made by major designers. Okay, I just don't understand. Here's my thing with Serena. I think personally, before she got the cosmetic surgery, I think
Hmm.
that she was a very
Yes.
beautiful woman, and very strong and fit.
Hmm.
Okay, and so you need to dress that appropriately. And the way to do that is to feminize the areas on your body that are not as feminine. So she just did not, I don't understand it. This woman's makeup will be off 100%. Her
Ooh.
hair looks like she done rolled around in that wig about 5 6 times before she put it on her head. Like I just don't understand it. How she dresses never fits her body. And the thing is that Serena, her body is a work of art. If
Yeah,
you
and
really
even
think
though
about it.
it's true because as much as she has an athletic body, she still has a very she has womanly curves.
Very
She's
much so. This girl booty
she's
is
thick.
like
Yeah,
bootylicious back there. Like,
that they
come
used to
on.
make they used to make fun of her on the court because she's thick. Okay, as a Jamaicans, she's fluffy. So
Right? Have a little extra, just a little bit extra. You understand? And on top of that, she has like her chest. I understand her
yes,
arms and stuff, but her chest is also
yeah,
her boobies are nice. Like they sit up nicely.
yeah.
Like
Mhm,
her body is a work of art. Like as a woman, I feel like it is a work of art. And
mhm.
to dress it the way I see you at the Met Gala,
Lord me God, I was like, what? I was like,
what is
black and
happening?
like I mean, you don't get more tacky.
What
I'm
is
sorry.
happening?
I am sorry. You don't get any more tackier than
I
black and
don't.
gold.
Uh,
Black and gold it could be, listen,
ooh,
let me correct myself because I'm a black person, especially Jamaican, we love gold. But
right,
I'm saying there's a way, it's a very touchy thing. You have to know what you're doing so it doesn't look, it could easily be tacky. You can pull it off. We've
right.
seen it. Again, black and gold, black people, we love that. But there's a certain balance there needs to be for it to look classy. And this full
Oh my
foil
god.
gold
Foil.
gown
Thank you, Lord. Someone said it.
that's not even fit up and pin
Oh
up
my god.
properly,
My
and then
god.
I don't know if there's anything wrong with her arms. A few times I've been seeing her with these long gloves. I don't get it. The gloves with the watch on it. It just the
What
makeup,
she's trying to do with the gloves is she's trying, whoever
not
the
take away
hell
the
is
muscular.
styling her,
I don't know what
is
it's
they're
just.
trying to cut up her arms. So
Yes.
like, she has the broad shoulders, right? So this is why they kind of put her in, either like some sort of a strapped dress, or like off one shoulder strap dress, to break up that
Yeah, I get it. The breadth of her
largeness of
shoulder.
her shoulders. And then with the
Hmm.
gloves, it kind of is supposed to feminize her arms, because
Yes.
she's
Hmm.
very much like, my girl has some guns. You understand what I'm
Hmm.
telling you? She has some guns, boy. So
Hmm.
the I get what they're trying to do, but every single time they miss the mark. I've seen this woman countless times, and I'm like, who dressed you? Who dressed you? I'm not even gonna come after, Serena, because
No,
I look at her as an icon. I look at her
yeah.
as, a strong black woman that I want to celebrate. But girl, I can't celebrate you when you look like a chocolate bar walking down the Met Gala. What are we
You're right.
doing
A raw
here?
chocolate bar in foil.
Jeanette!
Lord God, I'm so disappointed. I'm like, listen, she's always off, but this was really off. This was like
But look at
embarrassing.
Venus. How come Venus can come out to look nice?
Hmm. All I know, and Serena, we're gonna move off of her. We gave her too much time, but Serena, don't do any more stuff to your face, please, girl. Please stop, stop, stop,
Golly.
stop it right now. Okay, so that's Serena. She was like on my worst list,
Oh my.
and then
She
like,
was the list.
okay,
She was
and
the
then the
list.
troll, she was the list, and
She
then the
was the list.
troll. I know this is gonna make you go off, but the troll, Doja Cat. Like,
Oh
I
my
think
god.
Doja
I
Cat's
can't.
trolling.
I can't.
I,
I
I'm
can't.
sorry. I knew
I
this was
can't
gonna
with
bother
her
your
tonight.
soul.
I cannot. When I saw the mockeries, I said, what the hell is wrong with this girl?
and then and then oh, holy shit, I just saw a photo
Oh
of
my
Erica
god.
Badu. Did you see Erica Badu?
I didn't, because Doja Cat was just took my breath away
Yeah,
with
so
that shit.
Doja, okay. And then I'm gonna end it with Kim Kardashian.
Listen.
And we had a whole thing with her, and I'm gonna bring it here. So regardless the
Oh,
fact that, okay, first of all, Kim is wearing this like foil. I call it like chainmail, but with flowers. Like, it's like finely cut, looks like laser cut, like flowers that are draped off of her waist. But the main thing that everybody was talking about is that metal corset that makes it look like she's one of those women who removed her bottom ribs to bring in her waist. I don't know if she did that, or if this is just giving the illusion based on how it's designed. Either way, like, to your point, we talked about this. I don't like the message it sends, because this look is like the look of when you hear stories of women taking out their ribs to get
yeah.
their ultra tiny waist. And I don't like the idea of that or sending that message. We're already in a bad place where all these Ozempic is running its reign and bringing in the toxic, unhealthy, skinny look back. And this is even
Skeletor. The Skeletor
Skeletor,
look.
and this is even worse with the way
Hmm.
it's pinched in. Okay, done. So the message is wrong for me. On the look, I like, actually, like, I don't know, it's not that exciting. It's like, it's cool, but I feel like if it was somebody else wearing it, I just feel like she's not the girl to wear it. Like, if they got, like, there's some outfits where there are some models, like some Sudanese models. I'll tell you after. There's this beautiful dark skinned model who was wearing this thing where she was like all spandex, and she's wearing all Swarovski crystals,
Oh
and then
wow.
it's like an ombre color. I can't remember
Oh
the model's name.
yes,
You've
yes,
seen it.
yeah.
You
I
probably
saw.
see.
And
There's it was
was
going
it a
on.
pantsuit? I think it was like a
Yes,
pantsuit.
exactly.
Yeah,
And then it's like a gradient of like teal
yeah,
and purple,
yeah.
and
Very
she just
nice.
looks gorgeous. Like,
She,
and there's just some.
especially up against her skin, I was like, "Do that,
Yes,
girl.
you
Rock
know
that
exactly what I'm
color.
talking about. Yeah, I can't remember
Rock
the
the
model's name.
color."
That's like one of those Sudanese models. And then, so anyway, back to this. What Kim's wearing, if it was like a model wearing this, I think it would look completely different. And I could see more beauty in it. But because the way she styled it, and it's wearing this grotesque kind of like cinched in waist, and like it's like, it looks kind of weird, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then we were talking about this, like, why, what is the thing? And like, I think we've said this, but like, Kim Kardashian tries so hard to
So
be a
damn hard.
fashion. She tries hard
My
a lot, but let's
God.
say particularly she tries so hard to be a fashion girly, a fashion it girly. And for commercial reasons, the brands love her, like Balenciaga. The commercial reasons because they want a big name to wear their clothes and get it out there because they want more sales. It's like, that's when I
Mm-hmm.
say it's commercial reasons.
Yeah.
But actually being a fashion it girl, no. No matter what she does, she never pulls it off. Even when Connie was helping her, she wasn't pulling it
Right.
off. Like,
Right.
you know what I mean? And
No, I
so
know. So I want to say two things. First, I'm going to go right back to Doja Cat 1 second.
Hmm.
Doja, if you want to look like you just came out the shower, how about you stay at your hotel? This is the Met Gala. Okay, this is the Met Gala where people show up to show out. You coming in like this, I know you want to be the talk of the town. You want everybody to have your name in their mouth. I get it. And I'm not going to do too much of that because I think you look ridiculous. Okay? Go stay in the hotel if you want to look like you have a wet shirt on. It didn't hit the theme. Please, your tactics are just taking away from your musical, genius, to be quite
Yes.
honest.
Yeah, quite
Kim
honest. Yeah.
Kardashian, let me tell you something, girl. You will never, ever be a fashionista. You will never be a fashion girl. I'm sorry. Listen, leave it to Kendall. Kendall is the
Yes,
model of the
please.
family.
Yes.
Okay, let's leave it to her. She'll do that. You need to go find a different realm. I thought you were trying to be a lawyer. I thought you were trying to do all these things. At this point in time, what you're doing is giving off the wrong impression to a lot of young females that's realistic, because that is not realistic. And like most people are saying, you'd have to remove a rib in order for that to be realistic. So to give that imagery to a lot of young people who are watching you, I'm sorry, you're being irresponsible. With that said, you were nowhere near the theme. I don't know who the hell told you that this was going to be okay. I know you thrive off of being the talk of the town, and you are. Not for the right reasons. I don't think you care, but not for the right reasons, Kim. And to be quite honest, I think you look ridiculous. I think you look like an older woman who's trying desperately to have some sort of relevancy in this modern world of fashion, and you just don't. I just heard today that I think Balenciaga is cutting ties with you and your nonsense too. So listen, to be quite honest,
Damn, if Balenciaga's dropping
right?
her,
That's what I'm hearing in
that's
these
big.
streets. I'm gonna keep my ear to the ground before I talk more about that. But I'm hearing that Balenciaga wants to say Ixnay bye bye, Kim. Yeah, I think that you're just not it. And when Kanye was your man, he tried desperately to pull you into his world. But to be quite honest, you're never gonna make it in the fashion industry. I'm sorry, Kim. That is the straight truth. You need to go back to porno. That's what you need to do. That's how you got your fame. So that's where you should go. Because
No,
to
she,
be quite honest, that's the only thing I see that was successful for you in your life.
no,
To be
and
quite
Skims.
honest.
Skims was a win for her. Skims is doing good.
Okay, but I'm hearing that Skims was actually a ripoff. Okay, that she actually copied somebody else's design.
Mm.
Uh-huh. And that, that lady, what's the lady, and she has on glasses and the short, what's her name? The one that hosts the whole Met Gala. What's her name now? She
Uh,
usually wears dark black glasses.
Anna Wintour.
Anna Wintour right now is in the process of suing Kim Kardashian. So yeah, their whole family, they're copycats. They love to copy what they see. They don't have an original bone in their body. And to be quite honest, this just represents that. This was not, even if you look at the dress, it was nothing. It
Hmm.
wasn't anything to be doing all of this for. It really wasn't. It was a quite ugly dress, if you ask me, that wasn't on theme. But enough with Kim. Because Kim, honestly, I'm giving you too much mouth already. This is exactly what you want. You want to stay relevant, and this is how you do it. That's just how she does it. That's how she
Yeah.
stays relevant. To be quite honest, 40-odd-year-old woman, I think you need to let your little sister Kendall be the model in the family. Why don't you really pursue that legal career? How
Mm.
about that?
Okay, so that is our Met Gala call outs. There's so much, but I feel like we covered the big ones. So before we move into, we're gonna do a call out and then do our workout today.
Yes.
We're gonna just do a quick music news thing. We're talking about Ice Spice's "Gimme The Light," and why I
Yes.
thought this was newsworthy for us in our music segment is "Gimme The Light."
Right?
Gimme the light, Sean Paul. Shut up,
Shut
Paul.
up.
Listen, Sean Paul had Toronto
Yep.
people on lock for 10 years with one album. Dirty Rock.
Right?
That one album, Dirty Rock,
The
had
one
the whole
album.
of Toronto on lock, and he went global in the US. He crossed over with Dirty Rock in the US and became a big,
Sure
huge
did.
star.
And he
And one of
brought
those,
Little X along with him. He
yeah,
sure
Little
did.
X, like a music director here that they collaborated a lot and all of that. But where was I going with this? Yeah, so Give Me the Light was a just give me the light.
Mm-hmm.
Just give me the light.
Impossible. No, 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 no,
So
no.
that was a
Yep.
big, massive song, and people everywhere. It was just a big song everywhere. And so anyway, Ice Spice sampled that, and so we have. That's why we had. You know what? As much Ice Spice is not like we're not Ice Spice girlies over here,
No.
but she sampled a cultural classic, and we
Right?
have to
And I'll
talk
give her
about it.
props for that. But she is from New York, and the
She's from
reason
New
why
York.
I
She's from
say
the
that
Bronx.
reason why I say that is a lot of places in New York have West Indian people,
Of course.
Jamaican people, so I could see her hearing that song. So
Mhm.
the fact that she's repping that song later on, she reminds me of, like, she has an old soul. Like
Mm.
she's still stuck back in maybe like the late
And then,
2000s.
yeah, the way she
You know?
dresses, but I feel like it's like a retro thing. But
She's very retro, very very retro, especially to bring back Gimme the Light. Oh,
so,
okay.
so I listened to it. I saw the video. It's actually a very short song. It's like just over like 2.5 minutes probably.
Mhm.
And
Standard.
so it's
Mhm.
yeah. No, here's what I didn't like. Obviously, it's a good sample, and the guy that she works with, the producer Riot, he's like on all her stuff. He's a pretty good producer, but she just sounded like, and I think it's the nature of drill music. It's something that's why drill is kind of a. I feel like I appreciate drill more by the English rappers versus the New York rappers.
Mhm.
But it always sounds like no matter what rapper it is, I think the nature of the style is that it always sounds like you're trying to catch the beat, and I think that's why Cardi struggles with it because she was supposed to do a collabo with Ice Spice. Can't remember which song it was, but they dropped it because she didn't like the sound of it because she felt like she was trying to catch up with the beat. But a lot of
Right.
people who do drill music to me sound like they're fighting with the beat. That's just something with the nature of it. There are some people who do it really good, like that guy who from Pop Smoke's crew. What's his name? That's big now.
Who's that?
The braids. What's his name? Is escape. I don't see how time like music
Oh
so
man.
quickly. It's just I can't believe it's like leaving me. That the big New York guy now. He does drill music, and he was a part of Pop Smoke's thing. I can't believe his name has left the building for me right now. Anyway, the listeners know who I'm talking about. He did a
Mhm.
song with Nicki. They know what I'm referencing, and they're probably like, "Girl, you don't know this guy's name." I'm like, "I'm sorry, it's
No,
sorry."
I'm trying to envision who you're talking about.
Yeah, you know exactly who I'm talking about, but
And he
like
did a
I just
song with Nicki?
he did a New York song. He did a song with Nicki, and it was huge. I'm just trying to find it right
Um
now, real quick, because it's pissing me off that I can't find it. Like it's
mm-mm.
ridiculous. Oh, can I find it? I'm scrolling. Okay, it's taking too long. I can't find it. If it comes back to me, I'll try and remember.
Okay.
I found it. We're gonna kick ourselves. Fabio Foreign.
Oh my gosh, Fabio, for real? We did.
I
Sorry.
struggled.
I was
Sorry, Fabio.
struggling
I
so hard.
struggled, Fabio. So, but he's been quiet. So, that's why I forgot. But it's so Fabio Foreign, who's a male, a male drill rapper, and even with him, sometimes I'm just like, it's the style of the music. Anyway, of course, I like the sample. I like the beat. It's a typical Ice Spice song, and there's something what I think I like about her, what people like about her, why people want to like her is like she's very nonchalant about like like just like Omarion, like Queen, chill, just like you're not gonna unbothered. I think that's what
So
people like.
unbothered.
So, but some people think she's too unbothered, but
I think that you know what, she has more substance outside of music.
I
I think
do.
that's what it is. I think
Mhm.
like she likes to do music, and I think she just is having fun with it.
Yeah, and she got lucky. She got
And
she got lucky.
she literally got lucky. But to be quite honest, I don't think this is her first like love.
Yeah, she's doing it. It's kind of like to me like Sexy Red. It's like you got a little hit and all this attention and you're making money, so you're just gonna ride it till like you're not super passionate about it, but you'd be a fool not to take advantage of the opportunity. And so
Yeah,
I think
and
that's
she
what she's
makes
doing.
fun music. She
Yeah.
makes fun music. I'm sorry, Sexy Red, you don't make fun music because I wouldn't play any of your songs around any children. I'm sorry, I just wouldn't.
Bend it over now. Air your
Oh my
coochie
god,
out.
I can't.
So and okay, and then the cons are she sounds like she's yelling in the mic. Is it I don't know if she's yelling because she's trying to catch up with the beat, keep up with the beat, but I'm like it doesn't sound chill. Like this is Gimme the Light. You're supposed to just say I know it's drill music and it's very energetic, but I just felt like she's yelling. It's like stressing me out. Like I could not listen to this while I'm driving. Like
Maybe
it's just
that's a
like
part of the drill.
she essentially it feels like she's yelling. Like if she was performing, fine, I can get you while you're yelling. But it feels like she's yelling and she's just recording the songs. What are your thoughts?
I don't know. I've always felt like that about Ice Spice. Like I felt like she's always trying to catch the beat, or she's always trying. It doesn't seem like she has a flow. It seems like she
Mm,
just yells a lot,
mm,
like or
mm.
just her delivery is very like da da
Yeah, it's a
da,
lot. It's like stressful
right?
for me.
It's like yeah. So for me, it sounded like oh yeah, that's her. Like
Okay,
I
I don't.
didn't. I,
You didn't feel like anything new from her. Like you felt.
no, not at all. No, well, no, that's a lie. I thought that she was. It's new that she's on a reggae beat. I
Mhm.
thought that was nice.
Yeah, I
That
like how they sampled it. Like they kept,
I
like
really do.
they made a drill, but you still get the essence of, you know.
Exactly. Right. And so, but I've never really, like, when I do listen to her, she doesn't ever sound like she has a flow. She
Mm,
always sounds like she's just a da da da, a da da da, da 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 da, like that. Like, it doesn't, like, I don't know. Like, when I
mhm.
listen to, like, say, Nicki Minaj, and she has a flow.
Well, you can't even. Like,
No, I'm not going to try, but she did do
Nikki
a
has like
song with
20.
her. She did a song with her,
Nikki
though.
Nikki has like 20 flows. Like
She
Nikki does.
yeah, she does. She has a lot. But
A
at
lot.
least you can identify
Yeah,
that
it's
it's
true.
Nikki, right?
Yes,
Like
true.
and
It's true.
that's one of her flows, you
She
know.
has 20, but there are Nikki has about three signature ones. Yeah.
Right?
Mhm.
And like if I never heard the song before and Nikki totally flipped up her switch, like flipped up
She could
her
have done it.
flow, I would still identify that's Nikki, you
Mhm.
know? But with her, it just feels like she's always just like blurting out what she has to say, you know, like blah
Mhm.
blah
You know
blah
what? That's a
blah blah.
perfect adjective. Blurting. That's what
Yeah, she's
blurting.
like blurting it out. Like she's not just I don't know, it doesn't seem like she has a flow. But maybe that is her flow. You know what I'm
That's what I'm
saying?
saying.
Like
Maybe that's the drill floor. That's her drill
I
floor.
don't know because
But
that means
it's
that she's
very
been drilling all this time because she that's how that's what it sounds like. I'm
but
just
yeah.
trying.
So
I'm no
anyway,
offense, you know, hey, do what you do. It's making you money. It's doing what you want it to do, but it just doesn't seem like this is your first passion. It just doesn't. And you know, like I can when I look at someone like Nicki Minaj, or I look at someone like MC Light, or if I look at someone like you could tell that's their passion. Like that is what they were meant to do. You know, she just seems like, yeah, this is fun. I'm getting
yeah.
paid. I'm gonna get some money, and you know,
Yeah.
so I don't know. But good job, Ice Spice. Good job. You brought something back, you know, from eras before. So that's nice.
Mm.
Let's get on into the call out.
The call
Yes.
out.
It's the call. Yes, this is where we put each other in the hot seat and we have to answer the questions. You know, as difficult as they might be, we still got to ask them. But I am going to keep this one light.
Mm.
Tell me, what is your latest guilty pleasure?
Mm.
So even I
Mm.
had to think about this
I'm
one.
like, ooh. Go ahead.
You know, when I thought about it, I was thinking about it for a while, and yeah, I still haven't come up with a definitive one. So I don't know if you want to take the floor first, or you know, leave me
Mhm.
out here on this limb trying to figure out what the hell I'm gonna say. But
Because it's a guilt. It's guilty. So I mean, you have
Right?
hard to admit something you're guilty about.
Right?
I have
As
a
a,
light.
I
Go
think
ahead.
I've always, I think I've always been into like, oh, really? I don't know. I'm a foodie. So for
Hmm.
me, I like anything that's related to food.
Yes.
I don't know why. I learn from it. I get good recipes from it. I
Hmm.
could binge watch it. Yo, there was times where I would even fall asleep to the Food Network. Okay?
Yeah, it's relax. You know what? I actually like watching cooking or anything to do with food preparation on YouTube. It's because it's relaxing. A lot of the people who do those videos, it's a relaxing thing to watch. Actually.
Right? And so
Mhm.
I do watch a lot of it. Like I do, and I've learned quite a bit, you know. So I would say, I know that's kind of weak, people, but I have been thinking about this all damn day. What
Mhm.
is my latest guilty pleasure? You know, yeah.
Okay. Well, I thought of a couple. So while you still ponder
Yeah,
that,
no, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. Mhm.
so there's two. There's what because you kind of jog my memory with your like figuring out dancing around what we want to say with that area. So you brought up
Mhm.
food. So I just recently got over it, but I was obsessed with and the food wise is you know Shot Time bubble tea that
Yeah.
place.
Yeah.
They have a taro milk tea made from taro and it's a purple drink.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't know if they use I think they use it's one of the rare places where they actually use the real taro, like they make the mixture out of actually cutting up the taro fruit and making the milk tea. And it just has this distinct flavor and texture.
Yes.
And I
Yes.
usually get it 80% sugar, no ice,
Right.
with the pearls. And
Right.
like literally for 2 months straight. That was like I was like, and it's a really rich drink because you know the pearls, the tapioca pearls
Oh
are
yeah. Oh
starch.
yeah.
It's all pretty much starch,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
you have the 80% sugar. I mean, I still cut the sugar, but it's still almost same level of sugar.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
it's made with some and milk, so it's a rich drink. So that's a lot of calories for one drink, right?
Right. Right. Yeah. You gotta be.
So at
Yeah. But be
least
careful.
twice a week,
Mhm.
if on the weekends, maybe 2 3 times, I would go because there's one by my house. And the sad
Mhm.
part is I'm not going there to get it. I am Uber eating that
Right.
like that, which is a rip off. Like I can't even tell you guys, it's such a rip off. But anyway, that was my guilty pleasure about for about 2 months. But then in April, I kind of got sick of it, so I'm over it now because it's just too much. Anytime
Yep.
you have too much, especially in the food area, I am easy to get sick of it. So that's done. And another thing is one of the things I like to watch on YouTube, my guilty pleasure is watching podcast beefs. So there's lots of
Yeah.
podcasts. There's a podcast bubble. So the little circle of podcasts that I listen to, even some of like
Mhm.
those famous ones that are like Joe Budden or even Joe Rogan, and
Mhm.
then like the comedian podcast, all that whole circle of stuff. I like watching videos where they talk about the drama there. I like that.
Right.
So
Right.
that's another
Right.
guilty pleasure of mine.
Mhm.
So yeah,
Mhm. Okay. Okay. So what is the question for me?
question for you is it's born out of something that happened today to me today.
Mhm.
I hate when this happens. Have you ever accidentally called someone the wrong name? How did you handle it? So
I've done that so many damn times. Jesus, it's horrible.
it's so embarrassing.
It's so
So let me
bad.
tell you. So today, I'll tell you what happened to
Whew.
me today, and I have another one. So today, I went to a prayer warrior meeting with my mom after we went to brunch,
Mhm.
and one of somebody my sister used to date was there,
Mm.
and
Mm-mm.
I was calling the person Craig. His name's not Craig, eh?
Mm.
His name
Lord.
starts with a C, but it's not Craig, so I'm not gonna say it. But
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
like, I said it confidently when I greeted him. Then when
Ooh-wee,
I can,
that's the worst.
and then when
Mhm.
I was telling my mom, "Oh, Craig's here," he's like, "I was like, Craig's here." He's like, "No, no. Let's say his name is let's say his name is
Anthony.
Anthony." He's like, it's something with a C. So I don't want to. I
Mhm.
wanted to say that with a C to say I was off,
Oh,
but
Chad. Chad.
Chad. Let's see. But he's like, it's Chad. It's Chad. I was like,
Ooh,
oh God, I'm so
wee,
sorry. I'm so sorry. And I was
we.
like, Lord God,
Lord
embarrassing,
God.
embarrassing. And so, and then there's another one in my family. So my cousin's wife, she has two siblings. And every like once in a while, if we have like a dinner or birthday, we gather at their house. It doesn't we don't go to their place often, but let's say at least once a year, every other year, a couple of
Mm-hmm.
times we'll go to their house and hang out with their family. So my cousin's wife has two siblings, a brother, and he's kind of quiet. Like even though he's there, he's respectful. You say hi or whatever, but he does his own thing. He's kind of quiet. So I remember one time I saw him in the mall, and I was calling. I was like,
Mm-mm.
"Hey, Trevor, Trevor." Da, 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 da."
Mm-mm.
Why the boy's name starts with a
Mm-mm.
P? Say his name is
Lord
Peter.
Jesus.
Let's say it's Peter. It's not
It's
Peter, but
just
I went to the house the next time and I heard his wife calling his name. I was like, oh shit, his
Jesus.
name's not. And he didn't say a damn thing. I was like, oh my god, it was so
Mm-mm.
embarrassing. Anyway, that's my story.
Yes. Well, you know what? I'm just gonna put this disclaimer out. I'm horrible with names.
Okay.
I am horrible, like horrifically horrible here. But I can remember a face. I can remember
Yeah. Oh
faces
yeah.
like it's nobody's business. I could know exactly who you are, but not have any clue what your name is. And
Mhm.
so this has happened to me. And the worst was at church. Okay. And so there's this lady who is very close with my mom,
Mhm.
at church. She's a part of like her, I guess, immediate church family.
Mhm.
And she's been such a doll to me. Like, she's so sweet.
Mhm.
She has a daughter, okay? And okay, so I've been calling her daughter Michelle.
Mhm.
Her daughter's name is Beverly. Okay,
Mhm.
right. So,
Not even
right,
the first letter.
right. Not even close. Okay, so right. I'm there at the church and we're fellowshipping after church, right?
Yeah.
And so talking to her, and she was talking with my mom mostly, but I was standing there and I
Mm.
was like, "Oh, how's Michelle doing?" And she's like looking at me like,
Who the
"Huh?"
hell?
Right? And so my mom caught that I obviously was asking about her daughter but don't know her name, so she was trying to like steer the conversation away from what I just said and started talking about something else and was like, "Hey, girl, right?" And I was just like, "Oh God." So then I was like, my mom was talking whatever and I go, "So Michelle's good, right?" And she's like,
You tried
"Lord Jesus." My
again.
mom
What
had
is
this look in her face like, "Just shut up."
Oh my
She had
god.
this look in her face like, "You can't shut up though." It's like she saved me once, but I didn't like duh. Like, I'm so stupid. And so she's like, "You mean Beverly? You mean Beverly?" And you know how black woman, when they're West Indian and they're Jamaican and their voice starts to get high like that, it's
Yeah.
almost like they want to cuss you out, right? But they
Yeah.
can't because you're not their own child, right? So,
Mhm.
she, you mean Beverly?
Yeah. Like she's basically saying, bitch, you could have been talking about my child.
Holy snappers. And I just couldn't catch on. I guess I was just so stupid. And my mom was trying to save me so bad. And so, anyways, after that, and she walks away, whatever. And I was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I thought her name was Michelle." And she's like, "No, it's Beverly. You remember she was at your baby shower."
Oh
Mm-hmm.
Lord God.
Right? So she had to hook, line, and sinker that right into my gut, Richard. I was like, "Oh Lord." So then she walked away, and my mom gives me this look like, "You must shut up sometime." Like, she just looked at me like, "Really? Like, really?" I was like, I swear I thought her daughter's name was, and she's like, "Yeah, well, now you know better, don't you? Don't call her
Yeah.
that
I
again."
don't think you're gonna forget that girl's name
No,
is
because she looked
Beverly.
at me and her voice went high pitched, and I felt like I was gonna get cussed, but I didn't. Thank God, in the house of the Lord,
Yeah.
because I was she her voice got high. "Beverly, you mean Beverly?" And I was
Mhm.
like, "Oh yeah, your daughter, right?" Yeah. And she looked at me in this way where her name is not Michelle. I don't know where
Mm.
you came up with that.
I know.
Right?
Not even close.
Anyway, that was
Yeah.
that was
That's a
yeah,
good
that
one.
was
Yeah.
a really sad moment. But those happen to me often. And so I like to tell people when I'm going, like if I don't know their name, like say I'm
Yeah.
talking, this happens to me all the time. I'm talking to somebody, and if I don't know their name, I try not to use their name.
No, I won't attempt. If I already know that I'm like semi in the dark, I'm not even gonna
Right?
attempt it. I'm not even gonna try.
I'll say
But
all sorts of things. Yes, hon. Okay, love. Okay, all right, darling. Everything but their name. Trust me, I'll do it. And so I'll say, you know what? Really forgive me. I'm horrible with names. What's your name
yeah.
again?
Yes.
And
Yeah.
sometimes you can do that, and sometimes you can't because people will look at you like, "Are you for
Yeah, because you
real?"
gone too long. Sometimes you
Or
got you.
they've told me 5 times.
Oh, then it's like yeah.
I'm horrible.
Okay,
Horrible.
that's a good one.
It's horrible. Thanks, Mama. But it didn't work. I
She
didn't catch
tried.
on. Yes, but anyways, that was a good call out. That was nice. Yes, and that will lead us into our workout.
Workout.
Yes, our workout. This is where we work out our hearts and exercise our mental fitness. We're doing deep dive discussions on different topics, different things that affect us, that affect the culture. And so, speaking of culture, so Kai Cenat. Now, Kai Cenat, he's a very pleasant young man. I think he
Mm.
has a
Yeah.
really great spirit about him.
Yes. Yeah. I like
He
him.
does.
Yeah.
He has a good spirit about him. He's amazingly popular. Okay,
Mm.
last I heard, it was like 14 million people that follow him. He's
Mm.
also a gamer. So we see a lot of his theatrics, and
Yeah.
his personality is so big. It's bigger than life. Well, he's getting a lot of backlash because he did make a statement that black people in America have no culture.
Mm.
Now, when my friend, when Jeanette brought this to me, and she asked me flat out, "Do you think that they have culture?" And we were going to do this a couple weeks ago, but we didn't get the chance, and we're doing it
Mm.
now because we do want to address this no culture issue that Kai has brought up.
Yeah.
And I will say at first, my automatic response was no. They don't really. The blacks in America don't really have a culture.
Mm.
Well, I've had time to think about it. I've had time to, put together different thoughts and research different points of view and perspective.
Mm.
And when I think of culture, I don't think that now blacks in America don't have culture. I think it's so very low key. It's a
Mm.
very low key culture that can also be totally missed in my
Mm.
perspective. When I think of culture, being that I am of, West Indian roots, I look at the culture that I was raised with. And in Canada, I feel like my culture, for whatever it is, any culture here, is embraced to be continued as though you were home still. So if you're part of the West Indies, bring it on down. Yeah, we're going to have the Carabana. We're going to have, you know, foods that you like to eat, things that make up the culture here in Canada, and it's embraced and it's encouraged, and a lot of people, will share their different cultures to other people. And so for me, when I have had interactions with people from the States, when I've gone to the States, when I've been around American black people, I feel as though the culture is not as pronounced. It's not as encouraged. It's almost like there's different parts of the states that your culture is third. It's like third or second. You're an American and then your culture. Versus here in Canada, I feel like you're your culture and then a Canadian. So I'm not going to say that. I don't think it's fair to say that Black people in the America do not have culture. I think that they have built their own culture through a variety of ways, which one of them was slavery. They brought what they knew and they assimilated it to the American way. And so I don't think it's fair to say that they don't have one at all, but I feel like it's not pronounced. I feel like at times it's misconstrued with a lot of different things. And so it's hard to pinpoint that that specifically is Black culture. So even when I think about state to state, you know,
Mm-hmm.
you go in New York and you'll see lots of culture, lots and lots of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
However, you might go somewhere like Ohio or Tennessee. They have a different culture
Yep.
altogether, but they come to me. For me, I feel like they're first American and then their culture. So I feel like being an American takes the priority and then their culture is secondary versus here it's the reverse. So that's why it's harder for me to pinpoint and say that they have a culture. I think that they assimilated their own culture that they brought from wherever their country was to the Americas, but I don't
You're
know. I don't
talking about,
know.
just to clarify, you're talking about people who immigrated to America. So you're
Well,
saying that
I'm
they
not necessarily immigration because you didn't immigrate when you were a slave. You were brought
no,
here, right? And
exactly.
you had your own culture from your own
Yeah,
homeland, and
exactly.
you had to come here and assimilate to a culture that wasn't your own. So and assimilation, they had to assimilate. Here we don't have to assimilate. I feel like we didn't have to. I think that it was embraced. Bring your culture here and go on with that. You know, especially when I see export and importation of our goods and foods and stuff. Like I feel like it's more embraced here. I've known many of West Indian people who have gone to other parts of the states, and like a close aunt of mine, she is in Alabama. She is born and raised in Jamaica, but if you
Mm-hmm.
listen to her, you would never know that she was from Jamaica at all.
Mm-hmm.
And so I feel like her culture, she didn't even she's
For
in
Jamaican,
Alabama.
specifically, you're talking about the Jamaican culture.
Well, yes, specifically
Mm-hmm.
the Jamaican culture. I don't think that now being in Alabama, she's practicing her culture at all. I
Mm-hmm.
think she hasn't even assimilated it. It's almost like she's kind of pushed it to the side
Mm-hmm.
and is now an American first. So I've seen different ways of it being addressed in the Americas, that the culture that we have as Black people, it can be pronounced and it could not be, and
Mm-hmm.
sometimes it's kind of swept under the rug and you're an American first.
Yeah.
Canadians, I a lot of times people, when they ask me where you from, they're not talking about Canada.
Mm-hmm.
When they ask you where you from, hello, we're both in Canada. Why isn't assumed that I'm from Canada?
Mm-hmm.
It's never assumed. It's first assumed that I'm from somewhere else. So, what do you think? Let's get into this topic. I've put out what I think about this. Let's talk about it.
I think, like, don't get me wrong. I was younger and I was ignorant. Maybe I would have got where he was coming from. But now that I'm older and wiser, I was like, I mean, we have to remember Kai Cenat is 22 years old, so I'll give him that. And he got spanked over social media so bad, like he kind of backtracked and kind of figured himself out after all the craziness. But it's a very ignorant thing to say, because Black American culture is very prevalent and very distinct. And if we start with the actual definition of culture, it's from Oxford. It says they're the arts, beliefs, and other products considered with respect to a particular subject or mode of expression, i.e., musical culture, oral culture. The main one that we learn in university, the set of predominating attitudes and behavior that characterize a group or organization. And so, with that alone, if you think that the Black Americans have the most distinguished culture in America, they are actually, to me, you could almost say the culture of America. And it is so prevalent from food to music to vernacular to fashion. It's the most distinct thing that culturally America has, and it comes from Black people. And so when we think of, even the people, like you said, you made the perfect example. If somebody, a Jamaican, African, wherever, they go there, that is a culture they're emulating. It's the nerve of anybody, Caribbean, African, whatever, a Black person that came from wherever you came from, to come there and say they don't have culture, and come there listening to hip hop, talking like them, using their vernacular, wearing, dressing like them. It's an insult. It's very ignorant. And even if, people people shut his ass down in tweets. Kai Cenat saying that Black Americans have no culture while indulging in our culture literally every day. That is how he makes his money of his life, is funny. Kai Cenat hasn't got enough heat for saying Black Americans have no culture, and his ass got licked over Twitter. I'm not gonna go over it, but it's like, it's the ignorance, because you look what you're wearing, look how you're talking, look at the music you're listening to.
Yeah, but that's all influenced by something, though,
Exactly,
right?
Black
Not
culture,
Black people, no.
Black American culture.
N- but that Black American culture,
Yeah.
for me, I don't think that he's ignorant. I think that a lot of the Americas was already in development by time Black people came over here. So,
Yeah.
for instance, like if we looked at Louisiana, for instance, there was a lot of
Hmm.
French people up there,
Yeah. French and Spanish. Hmm.
right? There was a lot of French and Spanish people. So, when you're African and you're coming to America that already has French influence
Hmm.
or American influence, or sorry, British influence, you are assimilating to their culture. And now here is birthed a new culture,
Exactly,
right?
the Creoles. So, an
However,
example you're talking
but
about.
it wasn't, but that's assimilation though. Like you assimilated to whatever
Yeah, but
culture was already there.
they assimilated with their own, like, so now we have, that's where the birth of Creole culture came from, because the birth of Creole is assimilation of European, French, Spanish, and the African culture that evolved out of Louisiana. So something distinct came out of all those, that melting pot of
But that
Louisiana.
does not apply to just Black people though.
No, because yeah, they have Creoles that are non-black as well in Louisiana, which is a pretty distinct. Louisiana culturally is the most distinct place in America, so that's actually a good example that you pulled out. But like, if we think about like where jazz came from, it's like you said, the slaves that came from Africa came with their language and culture and melded with whatever is here. Like, so that's why they speak English, but their English is accented, because the accent they have is coming from the old language that they would have spoke back in whichever place in Africa that their ancestry comes from. The way they dance, that's why they're so rhythmic. Like, these are all things that are distinct to Black Americans because of their roots, from where they come from, and coming here to this, bringing that to this country and evolving to where we are now, and to where the country is now, has come from those roots that are distinct from the Africans that came to America as slaves and evolved and got free and have continued to merge into the merge into the United States. And so, like I said, there's poetry, like the way they write, the music, jazz, like gospel, soul food, tap dancing, all these things are
Yes,
coming from their roots from the slave days. And
right,
that is
right.
distinct. It
However,
doesn't.
their culture was
Mhm.
then it metamorphosed into something
as,
else.
it, as it should.
Right,
That's what
right,
yeah.
right. And I
Mhm.
hear you on that. However, that's where I feel the disconnect for maybe a lot of American Black people,
Mhm.
like Kai, who's saying, okay, he's gone to countries that have held true to their traditions, to their culture, to their foods, to their
Mhm.
whatever it might be, and that hasn't changed no matter if there was colonization from this country or that country.
Mhm.
So when he, as an American now, goes back home and he, like let's take somewhere like let's say India.
Hmm.
Okay, he goes to India and he sees that even though there was a lot of colonization from the British in India,
Hmm.
they still stayed true to whatever culture that they had and traditions that they formed, right? Now he comes back to America and he sees that, okay, the African people are not drumming and dancing and talking and eating what they used to, right?
What African people?
They had to take on other cultures that
Like
influenced how they lived, right?
Black Americans?
Specifically, Black
Hmm.
Americans came to the country that was already being developed
Hmm.
by the French, by the English, by the I
Hmm.
think even the Dutch at one
Hmm.
point. So they had come. So now he, as an American, comes to America back from India, and he says, "Wait, so why the black people that came here didn't keep their drums, or how come once we were free, we didn't start back with our drums, we didn't start back with our clothes, with our food, with our this, we assimilated, and so there's now it metamorphosed into a whole different culture that's not true to where they came from." When
Yeah, but those influences are still there in the food, in the
they
music,
are,
in
but
the rhythm, in the
that's
rhythmic.
why I said earlier. That's
Yeah, but
exactly why I said that.
exactly. So I get what you're saying, but like, and then that's the power of slavery, where you rob, just like you talk about with Native Indians, you rob a people of their
Exactly.
roots, and so now, but it's the amazing thing with Black Americans is they still took those roots and, like you said, merged, took something and like merged it into what, let's say, America or whatever they came to know as America, and evolved as a the country evolved, and still those roots are still there in the way, in the language,
But
and
they're
in the
not
food.
as prevalent, and they're not as pronounced as
And
if
yeah, and and it shouldn't be, because you're in a different country, just like you say, like if you go to a country like India, let's say, have some things that they stay true to, especially but then there's the English did assimilate that, like that their language that they speak is English. Everyone speaks English, can speak English in India. It may be heavily accented. If you want to go to school and you want to have do business, you have to speak English. So there is always a melding of the influence of people, whether you go to a land or people go to your land. But I think we're going back and forth. But basically, what I'm trying to say is, we're not debating it. We all have our own beliefs or whatever, and or whatever we've seen and how we understand things. But I mean, I think the main point, which I think is clear, is that Black Americans have a clear and very influential culture, and it's just kind of ignorant when African people or Caribbean people come there and say those things, and that's how we start these xenophobic wars, where, like, between Black people, where you look down on a people, just like they'll come back and say, well, okay, you had to come here because your country doesn't even have running water. You can't get mad, because now that's how we start this toxic behavior, and I think
right.
that's why
Well,
it's kind of
I
annoying.
think anything can turn into something toxic, right? Like
Of course,
it really
yeah.
can. And we are going back and forth on it only because, you know, having a discussion about it, but I don't see Kai Cenat as being ignorant, and I don't see myself as being ignorant. I can see that initially it's not a pronounced thing to me.
Hmm.
I see that they have made a whole different culture than what they originated from.
That's
That
why
I
they're
can
Black,
agree to.
but that's why that's the distinction of Black Americans. We're not saying they're African, and actually, people who are foundational Black Americans do not want to be called African
Well, a
Americans. They're
lot of
just
them are
Americans.
they call themselves Native Indians. So
Some, well,
that
some.
that's a whole different
That's a
conversation. But
different conversation.
I'm saying that there are a lot of black people in America who think that I am American. I've
Yeah.
always been American, you
Yes,
know,
I believe that. Yeah.
and that they did not come from slavery and
Oh,
that
I've
they
heard
were
that.
not.
I don't believe that, but
Well,
I've
I
heard
don't
that.
know. I
Yeah,
don't know. I wasn't there.
that's
But when
true.
I see history and I look at history books and I hear about descriptions of what people looked like way back when, before slavery was even a thing, and even when you look at the Native Americans that are here in Canada,
Mm.
They're not light.
No.
They're not white. You know, a lot of them have really dark olive skin. So a lot of black people feel as though that they are from the Americas, and that whatever culture that is American is their culture
Yeah.
specifically,
Yeah.
right? And so,
Mm.
you know, black people from other places that have come to America, I
Hmm.
understand that, you know, Americans, the way I see it, and I've been to different states in the Americas, and I find that they're American first and then everything else follows after.
Yeah.
Whereas in Canada, you are where you came from first, and then you're Canadian. And I can see why maybe Kai has gone outward, because he's shown different videos of himself traveling, and
Hmm.
he's gone out of America, and he sees that even though they were colonized, they stayed true. And yes, language does play a role, but I don't feel like it defines a culture. Your language
Yeah. Language
specifically,
alone, not language
not
alone. No.
language alone, you know,
No.
defines a culture. So I think English is spoken worldwide because every part of this world was
Was
colonized,
colonized by the English. Yeah.
right? And so I think that was the inevitable, you know. So yeah, but either way, I don't think that anybody's point of view, like, that's his perspective, that's what he feels. Maybe he doesn't feel that eating chitlins, or, you know, braiding your hair, or this or that makes you have culture. Maybe he thinks that
Well, but that's a very
outside
definition of
countries,
culture. So then he is ignorant if he doesn't understand that that's the
well, I
definition of
think he
culture.
just doesn't see it. Maybe he doesn't see it because
And I could, and I'm giving him the benefit of the
when he
doubt
leaves
because he's young.
well, when he leaves America, right?
Hmm.
When he leaves America, and this is why it's always good to travel full
Yeah.
circle, full circle from earlier. This is why it's good to travel, because you can see other cultures, you can see other countries, you can
Yeah.
see how colonization has affected that particular country,
Hmm.
which it has globally, sure has. And maybe when he returns home, he doesn't see that same pronounced culture. You go to a place like China and you will see the culture. There's no doubting it, right? And so I can understand where he's coming from. I can. As a Canadian, I feel like our culture over here is really pronounced because it's kind of embraced and encouraged to be where you're from first and then Canadian. And with all that said, Kai, you're young and you can see the world from whatever point of view that you want to. I do hope that you learn more. I always say that it's good to learn and then
Hmm.
make your own conclusion. So don't be biased. Learn more, Kai. Grow more. And then, if you still have the same opinion, because there's lots of us out here that kind of see where you're coming from, which I'm one of them. So if I'm ignorant, then I'm ignorant. But I have done some research. I have lived some life, and I can see what he's talking. I can see
Hmm.
both sides of the coin. I can.
Hmm.
And with all that said, we do hope that your hearts and minds were activated on this week's show. So whether you lead with your heart or your mind, please stay passionate and thoughtful. We'll talk to y'all real soon. Bye.
Bye.